draft for game number 1 of AKJIL on the left, OMO ABYSSINIAN on the right. Let's see what these bands end up looking like. It looks like we may get the Inteleon and the Zoroark.
Ooh, this is interesting. I feel like the bands have been pretty similar across the day. There are obviously these Pokemon out there that just shine. You do not want to come across them. But taking off Zoroark off the map along with an Inteleon, I know that Liquidation has been chasing some members down.
It has. Also, though, I really like the ban on the side of AKJIL. We mentioned that they've got a really strong special attacker backline, and Zoroark just eats that for breakfast, quite literally. It's just like, oh, feed me. I want that experience. But it looks like we're going to have the classic Lapras first pick. I think nothing super surprising there. If you've been watching this weekend, or the month before that, or the month before that, you've definitely seen that as the first pick pretty much every time that it can be. On the other side, though, what they prioritize will be a good question. You ban out one speedster, it might be the Leafeon instead.
Look, you've got to bring in those evolutions. Umbreon and Leafeon, I must say, great combination together. You mean look them, and then Leafeon comes in with that huge burst damage. It is massive. But you know what? We have Hooper and another tanky defender, Slowbro. We have talked about this Pokemon endlessly today.
Yeah, this has been for quite a while the real big meta double defender pick, the Slowbro plus the Lapras, but now that Umbreon's here, it's a little bit different. They're actually going to be going double defender. On the other side, we're going to have the Umbreon plus the Blastoise, which is another great choice altogether. But the Glaceon, I feel like still this has been a really big MVP Pokemon for me that we see not that often still this tournament.
Well, we did see this earlier from this team, having those 3 evolutions plus the Blastoise and the Eldegoss there, the fake evolutions maybe, I don't know, they may be in disguise. But Zoroark, no, not Zoroark, Zacian and Mew also being picked up on the side of AKJIL.
Oh, I just feel as far as like meta picks, this AKJIL comp is extremely scary. Having Mew to back up this terrifying front line, and then of course the support of the Hoopa to keep them up forever is going to be such a great comp. But on the other side, yeah, all these evolutions, they can be very, very scary. I think the biggest thing is, are you going to find great targets for the Leafeon, or is Leafeon just going to end up taking some collateral damage from the Sacred Sword out of the Zacian? Only one way to know. Once again, we're going into game number 1 here, AKJIL versus OMO ABYSSINIAN, and we're bringing back Spriggles and Doob Snacks to call the action.
Here we are, Doob Snacks, another elimination game. Like you said before, we've got 3 in a row. Call us in sync, because we're saying bye, bye, bye to some of these teams right here. OMO ABYSSINIAN, AKJIL, 2 incredible teams from their region, 2 first seeds from their region, going up against each other here in the losers bracket. And I might have to remind everyone at home, a team from the losers bracket is going to crawl all the way through this thing to the grand finals, and you could be looking at that team right now.
Without a doubt. And they've got a heck of a hurdle in front of each other, because both of these teams are formidable, without a doubt. I was looking at this draft, and it really looks like both teams are incredibly strong. They got a lot. I mean, the triple EV comp is something that you and I have cast once before, not with these specific EVs, but it looked incredibly impressive. And then on the other side, you have Slowbro, Hoopa, Lapras, and then why not a Zacian and Mew to round it out?
Yeah, incredibly powerful compositions from both sides right here. And even though you have an experience-hungry Pokemon like this Blastoise, you also have 3 Pokemon that become amazing at level 4. 2 of them just ticked over. We've got the Glaceon and the Leafeon on the side of OMO ABYSSINIAN right there. Obviously, there's so much value into a Pokemon that is good right at the start of the match. Take that lead and use it throughout the game. Don't let it go. Make sure that you're ahead early and don't let your opponents catch back up. That's what ABYSSINIAN's looking to do here in game number 1.
Without a doubt, and they're off to, AKJIL is actually off to a good start, as Chobo was able to get that K opener onto Eevee. So, I mean, that's why they're still missing that Umbreon right now.
And here we go. We can see them moving up the top path right here. We can see Hoopa kind of hiding out in this tall grass. A lot of this experience looks like it actually is heading over to the side of AKJIL. We got that level 5 already on the Lapras. Huge break point, big power spike. We're going to see if they're bringing out the Water Pulse or the Perish Song right here.
AKJIL doing a great job to split the attention of OMO ABYSSINIAN there. They couldn't decide if they want to try to get the KO on the Hoopa or get the experience in the middle, and ultimately they didn't really get either.
Yeah, not great right here for ABYSSINIAN. Abyssinian as they are jumping forward, trying to take down this Glaceon. Great play, sending the Eldegoss down, using that X speed so that they can make it there to support their team. But you can see S4L still hiding in this tall grass, moving back down, big boost and attack. Leafeon barely makes it out.
Now we got a portal in the middle and 3 players suddenly disappear, and I can't imagine they're coming back through that one. Nice play.
And these are the plays by Hoopa that they're able to make, right? They can head right to the enemy central area, put on a ton of pressure, and then just send everybody home through that hyperspace hole.
Great look here. Finally, the Leafeon is kind of chunked. They're peeling back, and they get hit with the Electro Ball, and then the hyperspace hole actually is enough to get the KO there. Quick work and nice movement by AKJIL. They've looked phenomenal.
Yeah, AKJIL looking incredible right here, making great use of their Hoopa. It feels like it's in every single engagement, putting down portals for their team. Also picking up some massive damage and some stuns. Incredible, incredible plays from AKJIL to start this thing. However, Abyssinian, the only team to put some points on the board here, 50-0 right now, as we are 20 seconds away from this first Reggie in the bottom top path.
Looking to fight a little bit is S4L. Chobo doing a great job on the front line here as Epe is screening well with Mew. I mean, AKJIL just seems to be moving in sync. Oh, the Slowbro gets poached on over by the Umbreon back on the other side. Solar Blade comes through. They're getting solo. Finally, the KO happens from Tempest. And not great when you're looking to do a 3v3 on this Regice. Now it's up to the Mew and the Zacian to get it done all by their lones.
And here we go. It looks like they were trying to rip this here, but a nice play to peel back and attempt to secure that. The Unite move does not get it, but the Hoopa does. Once again, this Hoopa just doing so much work for AKJIL.
I mean, Dabin coming through, but finally they bend, and finally they break. 3 straight players get KOs, and now they use the Glaceon Unite move to put the pressure onto Chobo. Nice engagement here by Tempest, just so they can get some points in, and they close out that gold zone.
Huge goal zone closeout right there, even though AKJIL was able to take the better of that fight to secure the objective. The push there from Abyssinian was huge. Like we talked about, those are those evolutions. Big Unite move right there at level 8, able to push forward and take a huge fight and win for their team, up by over 100 points already. And while this was happening, we finally have ourselves a Blastoise in the top path. And I say finally, but it's the 6-minute mark. They've done a great job of getting their experience.
Yeah, without a doubt, you know, all the credit in the world to Miva as they know exactly what they need to get that Blastoise online. They hang out. OMO ABYSSINIAN is able to do a ton of work without them present, and it totally pans out. Suddenly, AKJIL is ripping through this Reggie like he's secured by the Zacian, and nobody really from OMO ABYSSINIAN shows up for that, so they're going to peel back and just try and maybe catch this thing, not give up too much as the Rapids and Water Spout is absolutely flying. Zacian shelling in damage. Eldegoss gets KO'd off the back of the Parish song and the Lapras follow-up, and just nabbing a berry and trying to stay in the pocket as long as they can, but this goal zone is going to be broken by +15.
Not a terrible overcap right there, and they get rid of a goal zone. A little tit for tat. You take our bottom goal zone, we will take your top, but you do get a little more value having your top goal zone gone than your bottom. Forcing out the Mew Unite move right here. As Mew's looking to be a little aggressive right here as they push towards that Leafeon, and everyone just backs up. They don't want to take this fight too prematurely. We have a Reggie spawning in the bottom path here in 15 seconds. And look, I don't know the statistics on any of the other teams as to whether or not they get the first or second Reggie, what the odds are of them winning, but I can tell you taking these objectives is a huge boon for the team.
There is a percentage involved, and I'm sure it goes in one direction or the other. Chobo screening in front of 2. Finally showing up is Mule as the Lapras, able to put some decent pressure, but hiding out in that tall grass is, of course, the Leafeon, ready to Solar Blade any target that steps up close. Epe moving in with S4L. Those two have been working in tandem all game long. Chobo gets engaged on Tempest, looking for an opportunity. Regirock helping out a little bit, as now it's caught in the middle as the Zacian. They force out the Unite move, kicks up through Hydro Typhoon. The Mew takes the Regirock, and now they're trying to use these shields to do something, but no, it's actually OMO ABYSSINIAN that gets the KO and is able to sustain.
They send him to the top path with his Hoopa Unite. What a sneaky move right here from AKJIL. After they took that victory, they send them up and they rain points into this top path. OMO ABYSSINIAN trying to do something to push them back right here, but an amazing play. Hoopa not down at this fight, instead setting up this amazing moment for them to score, almost evening up this game. And if they can score 4 more points here, they will break this tier 2 goal zone. It's pretty easy to do. 4 points is an easy amount of points to grab somewhere on the map. They can send someone up here, and then that Reggie Alecki will push towards their main base.
And it just has hit the map, and all of a sudden, OMO ABYSSINIAN knows this thing's going to be a problem for us. So Leafeon joins the fray. They're going to try and rip this thing on the map as Umbreon and Eldegoss are trying to take the Zacian's attention. Finally, it is taken by Luis there, and it's sent into the goal zone and breaking it.
Yeah, easy decision there for AKJIL. They're saying, all right, we're going to let that goal zone break with only 5 over. You won't get a good overcap later. Little did they know the game was actually tied in that moment right here. 204 to 224. At any point, someone can sneak up here to this tier 2 goal zone and get rid of it. AKJIL can break this pretty easily, and then that opens up the classic Yamada play. They have the Hoopa. They can bring the whole team to that central goal zone during the Rayquaza fight, and we may see that from Korea, a region that is really well known for their, prominence of score comp in the first season. I can definitely see them make a trick play like that heading into the final few minutes here of our match.
Yeah, before it said that Regieleki was taken by Luis, it was actually sealed up by Shua, the Glaceon there. But that's a great point. That's why we got to keep an eye on this goal zone, specifically Miva, see what they can do here if they even want to try and just insulate this goal zone as they get bigger. And AKJIL says, no, we want to rip the objective. We want to get this Regieleki. We want the experience, and we want to fight this thing in the middle. They got 15 seconds, and there's a lot of HP going down. First player down, 9-second timer on there. Shua gets engaged on, they get KO'd. The follow-up is on top of the Leafeon, forcing out the Unite move. The pressure continues. Whoa. This is going to be our Rayquaza fight, I think. Spriggles KO streak of 3 as they keep moving through. S4L puts the pressure on. KO by the Lapras on the Umbreon. 3 players down. Those timers are pretty big, but they're forced to reset. The Hoopa portal comes through, and they're shredding this Rayquaza. It's down to 25%. Can a Cotton Crash coming through? Is that safe? The Cotton Crash! The Cotton Crash! OMO ABYSSINIAN snatching that thing, baby. Let's go! Eldegoss, all you need is a flower and a dream, and you're getting it done. Was this the 70s? Flower power, we getting it. OMO ABYSSINIAN all of a sudden shatters in front, takes the lead.
Incredible stuff here, 272 to 324. This is not over, but look at that massive Rayquaza shield there for Glaceon. We do not have one for Leafeon. However, there's another 100 points that can go in. There's a minute 20 left, so this match is nowhere near over as we see members of AKJIL deciding how they are going to want to attack this. They have a tier 1 goal zone in that bottom path. 100 points inside there puts AKJIL ahead. In fact, even less than 100, they can get there. The question is, are they going to be able to suss out the sneaky play that this Glaceon can make with their Rayquaza shield? OMO ABYSSINIAN is up right now, and they just saw it. They see that Glaceon has the shield. This Glaceon is actually peeling back right now to try to deal with this push on this goal zone. We see Hoopa in the top path being pushed around by Umbreon. There's very little time left. 40 seconds. We're getting ready for the fight. Lapras Unite on the side of AKJIL while we have 4 Unite moves on the side of OMO ABYSSINIAN. And here comes the sneak play from the Glaceon. Hoopa coming up, and I don't think Hoopa's going to be able to do anything about it as they start to move down towards this tier 1 goal zone. AKJIL needs to make a score happen here.
They need to make something happen. Solar Blade comes out. They're putting tons of pressure on. They're putting points in, but they're still down by 116. And I think this defense is going to stand strong. OMO ABYSSINIAN up the back of a legendary Cotton Ball. Holy smokes. They're back to the middle. The Hoopa portal brings them through. Can they get enough points? And I haven't seen anything tick up. +10, but they needed far more than that, I believe. What is going on, Spriggles? Nice attempt by AKJIL, but it's all on the back of that Eldegoss. Hero support plays front, right, and center, getting it done.
Amazing stuff there at the end. I mean, what a fight from AKJIL, taking that moment so that they could push forward and secure Rayquaza, but they were actually running into 2 members right there. You had a Blastoise Unite move, and then, of course, we saw the Unite move from Eldegoss securing Rayquaza, securing that victory there. AKJIL, unfortunately, down 1 game. I need to hear this thing broken down by the 2 greats. Kello, Wonderchef, take it away.
My gosh, what a match. I think more happened in the last 3 minutes of that match. More happened in the last 2 minutes of that match, actually, than happened in some 10 full-minute matches.
Yes, indeed. Look at this graph. They were neck and neck. There was one point where they were actually tied in points, but that Cotton Cloud Crash coming in clutch. Oh my gosh, let's go look at these numbers.
Oh, also on top of that, 52,000 damage coming out of Chair Absent from the Eldegoss. Not only getting that steal, but quite a few confirms, I would say, on some player Pokemon. Very well played overall. I mean, that was a lot of damage in general on the side of OMO ABYSSINIAN. AKJIL was placing all of their damage really well, so it looks like less than it truly was, because it did feel like they were ahead for a good bit. But just amazing stuff near the end game in every direction from OMO ABYSSINIAN.
Did you see that Blastoise? It is a defender. I don't know, we classify it as a defender, but I think it's an all-rounder. It can just do everything.
Yes. I know. Honestly, there were so many things that happened in that last little bit that we need to take a look at it again. We didn't even get a chance to talk about, for example, like the Hoopa stuff, so we're just going to start here. There was a huge commitment from both teams to try and take this basement Reggie, and that is so risky when you are at less than 20 seconds left until the final stretch. That means that we got to see a lot of picks here, multiple picks on the side of OMO ABYSSINIAN, or I should say they go down on the side of OMO ABYSSINIAN, and it felt like AKJIL was really in a dominant position as far as where their positioning was going to be able to be, especially having a level 14 Zash.
But this was the moment. The Hoopa coming down with the rings unbound to teleport AKJIL and shred this Rayquaza. But wait a minute, hold up. There's an Eldegoss in the sky and it crashes down, landing and the finishing blow on the Rayquaza, securing them those shields.
Yeah, and then you got to see that Blastoise unite with it. It just went underneath everybody. It looked like they were playing jump rope, very fun. But Schwa on the Glaceon, just such a star player to me from this team today, playing a lot of speedsters, but also this Glaceon, such an amazing pick to be able to do a ton of damage to this extremely tanky front line that we saw on the side of AKJIL.
Can I just say, obviously they are the player of the game, but we have to give special shout out to that Hoopa.
Yes.
Like the ability, as I said, to just teleport their team over to the Rayquaza, but that final stretch where it teleported them all to that home base.
Yes, honestly, I mean, there were a lot of different MVP moments, I would say, throughout the course of those final 2 minutes. But yeah, I love the fact that we didn't get a chance to see it in the literal, like, final moment, but the Hoopa teleporting everybody over, the Eldegoss, of course, with the steal, the damage from Schwa, everything is just, it was an amazing game. Love that game as the first of the day.
But obviously,
or not of the day.
the back cap from the Glaceon sealing the deal.
Yes.
That's the thing, they didn't account for that.
Yes, 100%, which was, I believe, Schwa. So let's see if there's any differences this time around. We're going to have the Slowbro band coming out of OMO ABYSSINIAN, and AKJIL is going to be saying no Zoroark.
No, they do not want to deal with it, and I think these are pretty common bans across the board. Very similar, but you know what? As I said, we do not want to come across that Zoroark, the slash and dash.
Yeah, especially, again, with Schwa, a very well-known speedster player, picking Zoroark as a comfort pick earlier in the I think actually it was only like 2 sets ago on broadcast, and doing extremely well. That's right, that was their match against LG, where it was going head-to-head with Overlord. I mean, just think about that, when Overlord had a Comfey. So you want to get rid of that. Labra's first pick, as we expect. From the other side, we also are beginning to expect the Inteleon and the Umbreon.
Look, 2 incredible characters, as we have seen, but this does leave open for OMO to pick up Hoopa and Leafeon as well.
Oh, the Leafeons. That might be the option. We've seen that before. When the Zoroark gets banned, you go to the Leafeon. That's a weird thing to say. Usually it's the other way around. We've seen Leafeon banned, I think, a little bit more, but we do get so much secure coming out of that Leafeon. It is really going to add a lot to that already strong team. And the Blastoise, which we've seen, I feel like almost every game over the past several sets, is coming back in. That Unite can be such a big deal if you don't use it right underneath everybody as they get popped up.
And once again, we have Shua on the Glaceon and Miva picking up that Trevenant. So obviously having those 4 defenders on the map.
Yeah, I like this. I like this like flex where they switch their roles, and that Glaceon, again, it works so extremely well. But S4L, we've seen play the Delphox before. It's a strange pick, I feel, here. There is going to be some healing, but that's not the healing that you can really prevent. That's usually, I feel, where you see the Delphox come into play, when there's like a Comfey and you want to prevent either that or maybe like a Clefable. But the Hoopa, totally different thing. They just want to use it kind of as this backup support for, I believe, Ape, who's going to be their kind of main range damage dealer. We've seen it in other sets. Looks like it's going to be this again. But
it's all going to come down to that front line there, right? They have to protect that Inteleon and that Delphox that are going to be doing that back line of burst damage. But I think we need to throw it off to our casters to cast this next game, OMO ABYSSINIAN versus AKJIL.
Here we go. AKJIL AKJIL in trouble right now. OMO ABYSSINIAN having a miracle play at the end of game number 1. But that was an incredibly close series. I mean, amazing stuff from AKJIL, able to take them all the way to the end there. They almost took Rayquaza away from them. So now the question is, can AKJIL repeat that performance at the end of game 1, except actually finish it out? Or is OMO going to be able to move forward here?
Well, I'll tell you what, OMO actually wants to execute their strategy and not leave it up to Drapson. Absolute prayer play on the Eldegoss and Blastoise, by the way. They both use their Unite moves simultaneously to try and eat that Rayquaza out, and obviously it worked. I am surprised again by this Delphox, to be honest with you, Spraggles. I mean, I thought S4L's Zacian was going absolutely banana lands. Could have been a decent option. Maybe they're concerned about the range they had, but you still have the Inteleon as well. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, they've got an extremely tanky setup right here. So obviously they're going to have the Inteleon, they're going to have the Delphox to play from, you know, behind that massive curtain of defense. And hopefully that is enough. We've seen some amazing Delphox plays this tournament, and we've also seen Delphox sort of fizzle out, you know? The question is it going to be a firework, or is it going to kind of explode on the launch pad there?
It's going to be a real firework. We talk about snakes and sparklers out here. I mean, this Delphox needs to leverage, because its only true prime target is going to be the Trevenant. I mean, Hoopa portals don't really care about fanciful fireworks, which, as we know, shuts down the healing factor of a lot of these classic support Pokemon. So we'll see how that works. Drapson being a real mean bully out here, playing on the side of the map. Finally, S4L is about to get gets credit for that KO, but a lot of time burned off the clock.
Yeah, take a look at this here. AKJIL looking pretty good here in this bottom path, leaving that Bunnelby behind them on 1 as the Solar Blade able to secure a ton of that right there. The Acrobatics moving on in, picking up some more critical counters there for Inteleon, but unfortunately not able to really pick up much elsewise, as we need some experience over here on the side of this Blastoise.
They're like you said, looking good, and they're trying to keep some level parity here, but the fact that that Drizzile is already level 6 is critical. Get the Inteleon online, let it play behind your tankier Pokemon, the Blissey, the Umbreon, the Blastoise, and then go to work.
And you can see Trevenant just being pushed all the way back. There's still a little Phantump, unfortunately. Not able to do too much into this Inteleon. Nice big water gun looking for the secure right there. Hoopa trying to pick this up and just putting so much pressure on the central area of AKJIL.
There can't be anybody playing with more motivation right now than Drapson. I mean, after that clutch play in game 1, you know they're feeling themselves here in game 2, and they're playing like it.
We still have a Squirtle here in this bottom path. They just need to pick up just a little bit. There you go. Get them the War Turtle. We have the Inteleon at the same time. Obviously, they're running that EXP search. They knew they'd be a little behind on experience, but, you know, War Turtle is a tough Pokemon. You need to get that evolution at some point. EXP search just makes that a little bit harder for AKJIL, but we've got the early Inteleon.
Without a doubt. Now, finally, Luis looking for an opportunity to jump on the team, playing very far forward is Tempest. They catch quite a few. That's a big time KO. And all the damage is going in. Chobo gets shredded by the next Solar Blade that comes through. And all of a sudden, they find themselves by themselves as there. Dabine is just getting tons of damage shelled in. And this is a great early goal zone siege. And if they can get, they got it to 3, that's pretty decent. But most importantly, they're all over the basement ridge.
Yeah, this was beautiful for Abyssinian right there. And you saw that Woodhammer. They moved below the tall grass right there onto the other side of the ruin so that they were able to pull them out from that bush. Incredible play. I mean, really amazing Trevenant play from the side of Abyssinian as we head up to the top path right here. And that is secured there by AKJIL.
Well, we've got James Pond on the liquidation. Quick KO. Not a bad look on Chobo on the other side. Sent packing is the War Turtle. Here's my question, though. What are they going to do with this goal zone now that they have the opportunity? Tempest needs to frontline. They're going to try and get this 35 in. They're doing pretty good. They eat the shot from S4L, and that goal zone is gone with a nice overcap.
And Tempest is just playing an amazing game here on Trelva's Breast Tree. Incredible stuff right in the face of AKJIL the entire time, positioning them exactly where they need to be. Great scores here from OMO ABYSSINIAN as they are starting off this game really strong.
Yeah, who was in the lead in the level race here for AKJIL? The Inteleon is actually behind and just kicking over to level 9 behind the Umbreon and Delphox. So I'm looking at the other side, I'm seeing this level 10 Glaceon, and it can start being a menace.
And now we see this Leafeon waiting up here in this top path, trying to secure some of that with the Solar Blade, but unfortunately missing a lot of it right here. Hoopa coming on in, not able to get knocked out there by the Egg Bomb.
It actually came back through a Phantom Force, if you notice that, not through the portal. Mo, fanciful fireworks out. Nobody looking at him like that video you took back in the day on your cell phone.
Please
We're trying
look
to put
at
some
my
wood.
fireworks videos. They're so beautiful.
Things people say all the time, guaranteed. Peeling back, though, and able to sustain is Elvis Press Tree, no questions asked. Tempest, you said, is kind of on one this game.
Yeah, Tempest looking incredible this game. I mean, the Trevenant plays are just unbelievable right here. See Leafeon trying to sneak something, but obviously Umbreon is still up here. There's the Snarl, could jump in with the foul play, and they do, able to secure the wild Pokemon experience as well. Kind of playing this Umbreon more like an all-rounder and brawler up in that top path with this huge stun and this huge displacement move. Foul play, able to jump in and then push the enemies around, and then the stun on Snarl is still massive.
Yeah, Luis with no fear running straight at S4L, having no problems drawing out Mule, and now they have a decent engagement, got a half HP down, force them to eat an egg. Decent support here by Devine. Oh, that Woodhammer goes wide. They can't actually pull Devine to the front, and now the liquidation is shelling in damage cut off by Tempest. So a good back and forth here between these two teams over this Regieleki, and now, oh, nice little poach on Mule, forces the Blizz Assistance out, and the Unite move by the Umbreon. Elvis Pressure comes through as well. Blizzy gets the KO on the tree immediately, and now Mule's looking to put the pressure on. They decide to stop to score to get the time they need to close that goal zone. AKJIL, nice little push.
Really nice from AKJIL as they're going to be able to secure this Regieleki. Obviously, Abyssinian has had Hoopa in this bottom path waiting to bring the team down with their Unite move, but unfortunately, the fight here at the top did not go well. Come on, this tree!
Tempest coming through. KO Shrika 2, though, on the back of Miba, but that is all the work they wanted. That thing hits, and they close it with a plus 37, and all of a sudden, OMO ABYSSINIAN finds themselves way out front.
Incredible stuff. MVP, MB Tree this game. Trevenant looking amazing on the side of Abyssinian with these hero plays as they secure Regieleki and Registeel right here. AKJIL in so much trouble here in game 2.
Without a doubt. And Drabson just looking great on this Hoopa. They, like I said, they're feeling themselves. They're playing forward. They're not afraid to engage because they know exactly what the limit of this Pokemon is, and they're doing a great job pushing it. Enough time for who else but Tempest to come in and start laying in some damage. Nice hyperspace hole. The Hoopa blinks out, takes their Phantom Force back, and that's a cool little dipskirdo there and a good way to get back in the mix without just telegraphing back through the portal.
Dipskirdo, obviously a technical term that was used perfectly there by Doobsnacks as we see what's happening here in the top path. AKJIL just getting some experience there for their Delphox and Teleon, waiting in that top path, seeing if there's anyone that they can catch right now. If you look around the map, there's almost no experience for anyone to grab, as now finally AKJIL can head back up to this top free experience that they have for themselves there.
I'll tell you what, I believe it's Epe on the Inteleon hasn't really been a factor this game, hasn't shown up to a lot of these fights, but they are level 13, so they're keeping pace with the OMO ABYSSINIAN top players as well. So that's going to be important. The moment they step in, they have to have an impact.
And now we see we have 15 seconds here until Rayquaza. At any moment, the Rayquaza fight could start. We have Umbreon and Lapras kind of going at it in this upper area here near this top L bush, but unfortunately, no fight for either team right now, using the Hyperspace Highway to head back home and get full health on this Lapras. OMO ABYSSINIAN up right now. They can take the very aggressive play and look to take Rayquaza off the map, but obviously that's something AKJIL did last time, and it did not work out for them. So the question is, who is going to start this fight? As the Mystical Fires keep hitting 3 in a row for this Delphox, but they are going to just send the tree back through that hyperspace hole as they're crowding around this bottom section right here, pushing towards the enemies. You can see Abyssinian right now getting very aggressive in their positioning all the way towards AKJIL's side right here. Lapras heading up to the top path, possibly looking for a little score here, but getting pushed back by this Umbreon. 1 minute, 20 seconds. Someone needs to start this fight. Delphox getting caught with some damage right here, but peeling back, and no one wants to make this decision. So much is on the line. Doobsnacks, the tournament life of AKJIL hangs in the balance of this fight. 2 big wood hammers come out, but no, they still peel back.
AKJIL needs to do something now. There's a minute left in this game, and finally, are they going to make a move? Shua just chipping to this Rayquaza, putting the pressure on AKJIL to make a move, and they decide it's time. They're just shelling in damage, and Shua needs to make a move on the players. Blissey takes a chunk of that Icy Wind. Rayquaza resets. Finally, the rings are unbound. The Bliss assistance on to Chobo. They're trying to push here. Woodhammers are out. Hydro Typhoon catches. Nice little stun. First player down for AKJIL. OMO ABYSSINIAN looking to close this thing out. Next player down, and that's the Inteleon. They keep pushing around. Let's see if they can find the next target. Blastoise and Blissey rolling on each side of that horseshoe. Surf comes back through, but now it's time running out. Leafeon scores. That's Luis the Hundo Burger, and honestly, this is kind of fizzling out. Was the Delphox the trick? No, that was a Hoosker doing a Hoosker don't with no scooter stick, and now OMO ABYSSINIAN get more points in with 10 seconds left. It's over.
OMO ABYSSINIAN will take this game. They will eliminate AKJIL, and they will move forward in our tournament. AKJIL, the last team representing Korea, has been eliminated here on our World Championship stage. And you can see OMO ABYSSINIAN feeling pretty good about that performance.
That was a great game two. Game one, a little sweatier than they anticipated, of course, putting everything on Drapson and that beautiful Eldegoss Cotton Cloud crash. But here we go. This was a little bit more to their strategy, more properly executed. They isolated the players they wanted, and ultimately get a big W.
That was OMO ABYSSINIAN's game. They just looked amazing that game. They looked like world class. They looked like the kind of team that could head to the grand finals and really do something. They completely shut down AKJIL, a team that we've seen be incredibly powerful throughout this entire series. Again, flawlessly winning their group, going 3-0 as they made their way here to day 2, but their run is cut short by OMO ABYSSINIAN.
OMO ABYSSINIAN looking to continually push through this loser's bracket now, and if they keep playing like that and executing their strategy like that, I think they've got a pretty good chance. I mean, look at this. They're saying goodbye. At least you love the respect that we see on stage between these teams, but you know that AKJIL is hurting right now.
You know AKJIL's hurting, especially after that first game where they really had that game almost sewn up there. 2 Unite moves thrown by ABYSSINIAN. You know, the big problem is if you don't shut down the entire enemy team, if you don't throw that knockout punch at any moment, they could come back, they could secure Rayquaza. They did, and then coming back here in game 2, looking fantastic. We can see our scoreline right here. OMO ABYSSINIAN ahead the whole way, all the way to the finish where they win this thing without taking Ray.
Yeah, and there really didn't feel like there was a time where OMO ABYSSINIAN was out of control and had to regain the lead or make sure they had to preserve it in some wild way. AKJIL just never really able to step up to what OMO ABYSSINIAN was doing. I mean, we mentioned Epee on the Inteleon was a complete non-factor, and when you have a top 3 pick in the format right now, you cannot have that happen.
You take a look right here. Interestingly enough, I mean, it was Miva on that Lapras really putting in the work, putting out that damage more than sort of those carry Pokemon, the Glaceon, the Leafeon, obviously more than what we saw from AKJIL. They just could not get a good fight started, as you can see across the board. Really low damage numbers. They were just not able to do anything to ABYSSINIAN right here as we take a look at some of the big moments here from ABYSSINIAN's game win.
Yeah, one thing I want to highlight on that screen that we just saw, Drapson, 50k damage. You want to talk about a Hoopa player that's feeling themselves smurfing out on the Inteleon on the other side is a great look. And this is kind of where it started there on that big Regieleki push, and subsequently on this great Rayquaza defense.
Yeah, great Rayquaza defense. You see that Unite move from Delphox. Once again, it cuts off members of OMO ABYSSINIAN, but it's just not able to do enough unless they want to fight inside of it. There really was nothing for them to fight inside of there for, so they just run away from the Delphox Unite, continue to KO members of AKJIL until they are able to take this thing down. Miva on the Lapras, the MVP of that game.
Yeah, I mean, a great amount of damage, obviously a ton of points, but they were just everywhere.